All right, we're continuing with spooky videos. How spooky are we? Recording these videos in the dark. Yes, it's getting spookier. Don't worry, dear YouTube viewer. We'll make it through it okay. Probably. I don't know. The last few died, but that's fine. All right, so here we are, and we are going to be taking a look at job upgrades. And of course, with these job upgrades, these have been well, basically, I like using the just the Google Translate just to show a rough idea of this, so that you're not just staring at a Japanese page for too terribly long, because that's kind of a few of my videos. But even so, I think it's important that we a little bit about what is going to be coming this month, and mainly we are looking at some job upgrades for the Halloween units. We had talked about it in the previous video based on their master ability 2s, and now we'll get a full picture here. So starting off is not Cane Man, it's actually Magic Staff, or Staff Mage as it's known in English, and we're just going to roll through these and talk about the units. Also, this might be a hint towards Halloween Lucia. So first off, Staff Mage. Energy Buster is getting its cost reduced and its number of casts up. This is just good across the board. It was one of her best abilities before, and it's nice to see it getting even better now for Miss Kilf. Whatever. Next up, Shield of Staffs, which is the second ability, which you before erected a physical barrier. Haha, funny word. 3 for 3 times damage reduction, is also giving single target attack resistance now, effectively making her more difficult to kill. Faith Rising, which basically is the faith farming ability, also is increasing the amount of faith now on allies. So hopefully that means for faster faith farm, since faith farm is kind of tiring and whatnot. I mean, obviously there are other ways of farming faith with some TRs. I do believe Moore's Pendant is one of them. But yes, should be just faster farming. Next up, Earth Staff, which had a cast time before, has now been made instant cast. It was small damage, and now it just has a higher chance of being CT down. I do believe that it has been upwardly revised overall, but without seeing the actual numbers on being on Wotv Calc, I'll just word for it. Next up, defense level up will be getting much better, as it is getting missile resistance as well as increased defense. And last but not least, Kilf's EX ability, which increased own magic attack power and defense for 3 turns, and lowering AP consumption, will also give a effect to absorb part of the HP dealt as damage. A pretty big upgrade overall. Everything here feels very synergistic in towards keeping this type of unit alive, and I would say it's incredibly nice synergy wise, because everything is just very defensive and very much about keeping the unit around and still kicking. Honestly, ever since seeing Kilf's upgrades and just her in the earth element, ever since Queen Macherie came along with the Elfriness vision card, I've been kind of interested more and more, and this just pushes it even further to being a really, really good upgrade for her. And I just like everything here. I really think that Staff Mage ended up getting Cane Man, if you will, because that's just the best auto translation. This is why Google Translate Kids just doesn't work. Next up is Arithmetician. And Arithmetician, again, here we're looking at Halloween Leela as well as Ildira, both getting upgrades here. So height, Holy 3 is just getting a damage increase without the numbers. Hard to say if this will be too much, but it's consisted as large now, so it's either 165 or a 200% mod, if not even further than that. I don't remember what its original mod is, but the point is stronger now, which is next up. Level 4 of the elemental spells will be getting a reduce activation rate for counter abilities for 3 turns, which is pretty nice. Next up, we have Cura with a height of 3, giving a increased effect on targets for multiple of 3, so more healing power now. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Height-based Cure will also be increasing the amount of HP. And then we just have the 2 specific units that we think of when this. So first off, Elvira's EX skill will be getting increased effects on targets of multiple 3. So before it increased piercing, strike, shooting attack resistance for 3 turns. And now it's just going to be giving a higher effect. So more resistances, really synergizes with what we talked in the previous video of the MA2 for Elvira. So yeah, she should just overall be a much better support unit nowadays, which is fine because there are, as I've said in the previous video, there's really good offense in currently. As for Halloween Leela, the Awoo gang, increased hit chance on her attack, which is interesting. Dealing with evasion units, I think globalers will probably want to see this sooner than later to deal with certain units out there. But between this, where's my mouse? The level 4 elemental spell and something like this, it's kind of an interesting combination of dealing with evasion units and reaction, which is another layer to evasion. So honestly, Arithmetician, again, another nice upgrade across the board. And, you know, you look at the 2 units that specifically got MA2s, feeling pretty darn strong this month. But hey, there's also a lot of other units that use Arithmetician, Dark Helena, for example, that are going to really benefit from this upgrade. So all across the board, this is just a big net win for Arithmetician, which continues to be one of my favorite classes ever. Next up is Fencer, and we honestly don't have too many Fencers in the game. Matter of fact, I can think of 3 off the top of my head. I can think of globalers are probably going to say that Frivia should be one, but she isn't. So on. We have Halloween Fred, we have Schnack, and last but not least, we have Violet, who is a limited time unit from the 5 collaboration. So here at Rapid Cut, or Pressure Flurry, is going to be getting healing power down greater while defense is down. So basically kind of wounding an opponent and never letting them get back up. Ready to engage will be giving a higher crit rate for the unit that uses it. Fatal Pirouette will be, which is this one right here, will be giving a damage medium M on enemies only, increased crit chance, and lowers crit rate for 1 turn when critical hit occurs. Kind of interesting the way that works. Resist step for Halloween Frederica will be giving her courage / immortal spirit for those on the global side, which is a big improvement towards her, and with some healing and healing upgrade from her MA2, pretty good. But honestly, I feel like Earth has some really tricky matchups right now and some really good units already. So do you really want this limited unit with new units coming on the way? And the one thing is, like, if you look at who are the best Earth units, we have Oberon, Queen Macherie, and Ketone. And we have a new Earth Warrior coming in, the Warrior Crystal, who's going to be a range character. Honestly, I just don't know if there's as much place. People who love Frederica, I think you're going to be really happy overall with her upgrades, because it will feel much more modern and much more in line with damage dealers out there. But in all honesty, I don't think that she's going to have a hard time competing on that 3-position team, and in PvE, sure, go ahead, use her. As for Schnack, the Water Swordsman, Triple Rage, or no, it's just called Triple Rage in both JP and Global. The one that increases his own slashing attack resistance, the penetration rate of that slashing attack resistance is going upwards and still dealing 3 damage consecutive with medium damage. Honestly, fine across the board. I'm not overly crazy about Fencer, but it is one of the newer jobs and it is still pretty good. It's just it hasn't been on an incredible unit yet. I don't know. Maybe hold on. Here comes the R word. Dragoon will be showing up next month with it since he is a notable swordsman. And before anyone comments on it, yes, it has been confirmed that Reagan is coming very soon. Be patient a little while longer. Talking about it since January. Next up, Thief is going to be getting improved. So Mug, height difference +1, will also cancel all enhancements, which is kind of cool, and recovers own AP. So you're stealing a lot of stuff with it, which is really fun. And I actually love the overall feeling of this now. So yeah, Mug, really cool. Next up, Sneak Attack, reducing slash resistance. It's called Sucker Punch based on the Japanese and a bad translation. But Sneak Attack, reducing slash resist, will depend on how much, whether it's really good or not. Next up, Steelheart will have increased AoE resistance while charmed. Not incredibly amazed about this, but fine, sure. I just don't feel it like that great. And Shadowcast will increase evade while also reaction block rate for 3 turns. With Snipe Dagger just getting an AP cost, although here it's listed as Confederate Dagger, so that's fun. But yeah, Thief across the board. Mug feels like the most interesting and fun thing here. Everything else feels fine. I mean, Thief, a lot of the times you're just running because it's overall a nice stat booster for everything. Its abilities not so much, but Steelheart is one of the more notable abilities. Get Lost in the Dark is really important for evasion characters, and Mug is just awesome. So, yeah, we'll just put Thief incredibly high because I love it. Next up is Dragoon, or Dragon Knight. First of all, vertical jump will reduce the target's evade for 3 turns, which, okay, all right. Horizontal jump will give the target that gets hit jump -1 for 3 turns, which again, Dragon Drive will get its AoE change from a cross to a square. Its AoE height will go from 1 to 2 in terms of its jump. And last but not least, greatly reduce healing power for 3 turns when a critical hit occurs. Next up, we have Dragon Blood, or as it's known in English, Dragon's Skin. Increase attack for 3 turns, cast Protect, and critical... Hold on, wait. Protects the target, adds a additional effect, increase critical hit rate significantly, and increases block rate of counter or reaction abilities while protected. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, it makes it more difficult to kill, and it's also giving a benefit as well of blocking reaction rate and giving you more crits, which is synergistic with the other ability. But next up, a HP up becomes now increase HP limit and healing power. And then we have 3 abilities, and these are where some of these upgrades make a little sense. So first off, Macherie Xmas Edition, or Winter Edition, I think on the global. Range height difference now goes up to 2, and absorbs amount of HP is increased. Now, it works really nice with the new upgrade for Dragon Knight's knowledge of increasing HP. Honestly, I don't know many Queen Macheries that have been run over the last little while, so I can't comment on how effective this will be. And honestly, if Macherie doesn't have a way of surviving, well, it doesn't really matter anyway. Next up, Magic Wall from Camillo, which puts up a barrier and greatly reduces magic damage on himself now. I think that would be amazing in a mage-based meta, but there's a lot of strong physical units now, so I don't put this ability even as high as it was. But you know me, I have never liked him. He's biased! Anyway, and last but not least, Frost Sleep for Victora, or Frost Reaver. Sorry, it's Magic Wall for Camillo, and Drain Dive for anyway, Victora's EX. Range height goes up to 2, After moving to the target square, deal moderate damage to enemies. Now, with her MA2 being life-saving, this does work kind of nice. And I mean, if you are going to be reducing their AP off from the frostbite effect, it might be okay to be right next to them. But Victoria is not particularly, outside of an initial hit, really that likely to survive, especially if she goes very early, which she could. Here's the thing. Dragoon still feels weak, and a lot of that is because they just don't make the jumps homing. If they were more like Oberyn's and could home directly in on a unit, I mean, we've seen that Oberyn is good, and he's still really good this far into the future. It's just this one problem that overall Dragoon just can't quite get there without the proper timing. So I don't think Dragoon is going to get there. Frost Sleep with Victoria feels probably my favorite out of them, but I don't have much faith in the fire element currently. Camilo, I just don't think it's the right necessary meta for him to really go in PvP. And yeah, Victoria, I'm even incredibly due. So between all of these, Arcane Man, my favorite overall is probably Arithmetician or Staff Mage. The two of them feel the best overall. Leaf and Fencer are somewhere in the middle with some nice upgrades, and probably may even be better than I think, just because a ton of units have Thief. As for Fencer, maybe I'm just underestimating them, but Dragoon feels the weakest of all these changes, and I don't think it's going to get there. If we ever want Dragoon to really be good into the future, we kind of just need to hope for more units like Oberyn, which have exclusive versions of Dragoon, since apparently the design document is just basically, whatever you do, don't make base Dragoon really all that good. But hey, this is just my opinion. Tell me in the comments, what you think in the comments below about each of these job upgrades. I'm sure that the Woo gang overall will be quite happy. I think Ildira and Arithmetician probably got the best out of all of this. Hey, thanks so much for watching, supporting the channel, and see you next time.